stakeholder relationships. We don't want to say customers. No. We want to sound like we're HR professionals. We don't want to say being a cashier at Target, running the register every day, bagging the groceries for customers, showing customers around the store. No. I'm not giving it to you as your top 3 because it's at the top. I'm telling you this because if your resume starts right, it keeps the recruiters and the hiring managers reading. I'm gonna tell you that I am a global human resources professional, how long I've worked, what I'm aspiring to do, and these are all my skills. Hey y'all, this is Timeka, the face behind Heyyy HR, and I am so worried about so many people. We are constantly lighting up a post on LinkedIn or bad-mouthing a company because they're ghosting us, or we didn't get anything back after the interview, or we can't get interviews, or we're tired of getting rejection letters. And I feel you. I totally feel you. But I want you to know that this is a two-way street. Yeah, these companies are wrong. They shouldn't be ghosting you. I've done several different things about ghosting to let you know that, listen, I feel you. I've been ghosted myself several times. There's a little something that you have to do, and you got to get that resume right. So there are 3 major things that I see so often that's repetitively wrong on resumes. And I want you to know that if you can nail these 3 things, then listen, you're going to start seeing an immediate difference. If you want to know these top 3 things to get you from rejected to interviews, from not only interviews to job offers, to get you not only an amazing job, but an amazing pay with a company that has an amazing culture and definitely some professional development, then you definitely want to keep on watching. So the absolute first thing is your name. So many times we get these templates and we want to follow what the template says. Sometimes the template just might not have our name positioned right. And so what we want to do is make sure that our name is always the absolute biggest thing that we'll ever see on our resume. So many times we have it there. It might be bold. It might be like 14 font. No, push it up. Make sure you get to like 24, 26, 30 font. Make it your absolute biggest thing. It should cover the width of the top of your page. But I want you not to forget one thing. If you already have a master's degree, if you already have a certification, particularly an HR certification, then you definitely want to have that at the end of your name. You want them to know off top, I am a professional in my field, I'm an expert in my field, and I can totally handle this. So definitely make sure that your name is as big as you can make it without it breaking up into 2 lines. Keep it on 1 line. Keep it nice and bold. You can give it a shadow if you want. You can give it a nice professional color, you know, your blues. You don't want to go with your reds. And you want to make it stand out with those credentials at the very end. Now, don't stop at your name now, because I think we get excited and we think, okay, I got my name right. They should be able to see me. I want you to have your name right, because so many times in HR, when we look at a resume, we interview somebody, we look and we're like, you know what, Timeka, my girl. When we interview, when we look at that resume, your name truly stands out. We don't call you candidate number 2456. We actually call you by your name. So you definitely want to make sure that your name stands out, because that's the way we'll identify you. The second thing you want to do is keep that contact information updated. You guys have outdated contact information, so often we're not able to contact you. The email address, we're not getting responses. The phone number, we're not getting answers. So you want to make sure that you keep that information updated. And along with your phone number, along with your email address, you absolutely want to make sure that you have just your city and your state. You don't put your whole address. You just don't need it. I will tell you, I've seen some foul things in HR, and I started on maybe video number 2, 3, and I'll put that video in here so you can see the video where I talked about some of the horrible things that HR professionals actually, I've seen them. I'm not the person to do it. Even hiring managers have done. And I want you to make sure that you're not giving them all this information. Literally just give them the city and the state. Now you're not done, because I also need you to put that LinkedIn profile. Yo, Timeka, I ain't got no LinkedIn. You need to create one. You need to make sure that it's updated. After you have your resume completely updated, then update your LinkedIn. So it's not an absolute priority. You want that resume right first. Once you put that LinkedIn link there, once you put your email address there, you absolutely want to hyperlink it. What we want to be able to do is be able to click on that and go straight to LinkedIn. We want to click on that and go straight to an email. No one wants to spend the time to copy and paste your email or look at it really carefully and make sure we have it all right. We want to just hyperlink it, because it's too often that HR professionals, recruiters, sources, hiring managers are going through so many applications that, like, honestly, it really takes a lot of time when you have to do that on every single resume. And you want to make your resume stand out because maybe your skills aren't up to par like the competition, but the competition didn't hyperlink it. So we're having a hard time getting in contact with the competition. Now you reach out to us first because we easily contacted you. So make sure that you have that top area right. That's your name. That's your credentials if you have any credentials. That's your email address. That's your LinkedIn link. That's your phone number. And that is the city and state for your address. So that top header part, right? Make sure that you have that absolutely right. I promise y'all, it's going to help. Like real talk, it's going to help. I think we ignore it. And too many times I see these resumes where either somebody put it in small or guess what they're doing? Following some god-awful template. I want you to make sure that you listen to that from me. Now, the second thing that you absolutely want to make sure you do with your resume, because child, we're trying to get jobs, we're trying to get paid, we're trying to get more money. And so we're going to do that absolutely first with our resume. The second thing that you want to make sure that you do is have a good header and a professional summary. So many times we either don't have a header at all. I'm going to tell you more than we do. We do not have a header at all. I'll tell you what a header is. And you also want to follow it with a professional summary. And it's probably 50-50 on if people have that professional summary. So let's first start with the header. The header is the job title that you've applied to and the job titles that you're seeking. You can have that as absolutely one header, or you can have that as 2 or 3 different headers. So for me personally, I've already been at HRBP. I like the space. I would put my header as Human Resources Business Partner or Global Human Resources Business Partner. You're like, but Timeka, I never had that role before. I really want it. Whatever job you're seeking, that is the job title that you want to put in that header, because you want them to see you as that professional that you applied to be. Don't worry about like, my experience isn't there. I want to be a generalist, but I've never been a generalist before. I've been an HR coordinator. I've been an HR assistant, but I've never been a generalist. Guess what? That's okay. You want them to see you as a generalist. You want them to know this resume gonna show you generalist style up in here. So make sure you put whatever that title is there. You want to make that bold. You don't want to make it as big as your name, but you want it to be big where it's easily noticeable. Maybe change the color, maybe put a font, maybe change it into a different font, maybe put a shadow onto it. You just want to dress it up, okay? Don't just slap it there. Sometimes dressing it up is just making it big and bold. Sometimes that's what it is. Depends on how your resume is written. The next thing that you want to do in that section, because we still just on number 2, right? Because we're doing this by sections, and the absolute first section is your contact information, your name, right? Your credentials. The second section is going to be this header and this professional summary. So we already talked about the header. The header is that title that you're seeking, the job that you're applying to. But your professional summary should be a summary of your skills and how you fit into this role, or how you really are aiming to get into this role. More often than not, to be honest with you, I see summaries that are like novels. They're like 5, 6, 7, 8 lines long. You don't need it that long. 2, 3 lines will work. And so I'm gonna use myself as an example again, right? So I would start my summary this week. Get ready now. This is my summary. I don't want you to get confused, because too many times we want to make it like an objective statement. It's not an objective. You don't want to use an objective. You want to use a summary of how amazing I am. So I may put Global Human Resources Business Partner, working in full employee life cycle, full talent acquisition for over 11 years, aspiring to grow my career into, let's say I wanted to be a VP, right? Or a director, I don't know. I'm more a VP or a Chief Human Resources Officer. So I put aspiring to be whatever title. I have extensive experience in onboarding, employee engagement, employee relations, different employee laws, full cycle recruiting, talent development, employee performance, and then I'm just gonna stop it. It's gonna be a 2-liner. I'm gonna tell you that I am a global human resources professional, how long I've worked, what I'm aspiring to do, and these are all my skills. That should take me no more than like 2 lines. If I get to 3, I'm definitely stopping there, and I don't want to fill in that 3rd line. I could fill in the 3rd line, but you definitely want to stop at the 3rd line, okay? So you want it to be short and to the point. If you're like, Timeka, I've been in HR for 11 years. I'm starting my career. Timeka, I have not been a global HR business partner. I've been a cashier at Target. Cool, absolutely fine. You're going to still keep that header as human resources. Maybe instead of a generalist position, you're going for an assistant or a coordinator position, right? You can put both as a header if you want, or you can do 2 separate resumes for each. If you've been in Target as a cashier, I would say put both of them on there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm automatically going to dive into saying human resources, whatever, professional. I just say human resources professional, right? So I'd say human resources professional, aspiring to start my career and my passion working with people. I have experience in managing relationships with managers, managing stakeholder relationships. We don't want to say customers. No. We want to sound like we're HR professionals. Managing stakeholder relationships, keeping accountability for company assets that include up to, because if you just ran the cash register, you know, each day I'm making these people $15,000, right? For my 4-hour shift or whatever. And so you're definitely staying accountable of that money, because at the end of the night, you're counting that money. Somebody's counting it. Somebody's telling you you're on target and you had enough money, or you're not and you're short. So either way, you're going to definitely say bringing assets into the company and being accountable for that, right? We don't want to say being a cashier at Target, running the register every day, bagging the groceries for customers, showing customers around the store. No. That's exactly not what we don't want to do. We want to sound like an HR professional in that summary. And so that's your biggest number 2, right? You want to make sure you have that header and you have that summary. Cool? Y'all ready for number 3? I'm ready for number 3. These 3 things, before I dive into the third one, these 3 things that we're doing is literally just the top of your resume. And I want to give you a bit of understanding why I didn't give you things over your whole resume as your top 3. I'm not giving it to you as your top 3 because it's at the top. I'm telling you this because honestly, if your resume starts right, it keeps the recruiters and the hiring managers reading. Too often we don't realize that we may have a book, right? So there's a novel we're reading. What do? We jump to the summary section of that novel to see if we either want to buy that book, rent that book, read that book. You want to get hiring managers, you want to get recruiters from looking at your summary to moving into reading the rest of your resume. No different than I always use with my clients watching a Netflix series, right? When we hit on that movie, it's going to start giving us the highlights of that movie. And that's what helps us decide if we want to watch that movie or not. It's the highlights. Then we're probably going to read the summary to see exactly what this Netflix film is about. You want to make somebody do the same thing with your resume. I want to introduce it to you with my title. That's going to be my name, my introductory information, my header. And then I want to give you a bit of an overview of what you're going to get out of this resume. That's my summary. And then now I'm going to absolutely dive into telling you the skills that I can bring. So your third area is going to be your skills. So many times we miss the skills, especially if we're a brand new professional. So it kind of ranges for me, right? So if you're absolutely brand new professional or you're a seasoned professional with tons of technology skills, then you want to show those technical skills. We get excited about those soft skills, you know, communication, being a people pleaser. Like child, I don't even want to think about these titles because you guys put things that don't even relate to HR. You don't want to do that. I get it. You don't have that experience, but you definitely want to keep folks intrigued. You want to tell them, like, I've worked in Microsoft Suite, and these are parts of Microsoft Suite I've worked in. I've worked in Google Meet, Zoom. I've worked in GoToMeetings. Like, you want to keep all of those visuals of how you can talk to folks virtually in one section or in that section and all together. And then you want to move into maybe with Google Docs. I've worked with PowerPoints. I've created decks. Like, whatever it is that you've worked with on the technology side, put it there. So you want to put it there if you're a brand new professional because you want to show people that you have a tech acumen. Listen, even if I don't have all the skills, I know how to work all of the stuff, and that tells you that I can get in there and rock and roll and figure things out. If you're a seasoned professional, then you want to move with not only adding those, but you want to add the applicant tracking systems you've used, the HRSs you've used, the benefits software you've used. Like, put the names of those things there. Too many times we skip the skills section or we just put these soft skills that really don't matter. You can show your soft skills in your bullet points. Y'all, I can go into a whole nother video on the bullet points because listen, that'd be a train wreck too. But I'm not going to do it. I'm telling you the top 3 ways to get your resume right. If you want me to dissect them bullet points, really nail it and tell you how you can show an amazing transformation even without having HR skills, then I can definitely do that for you in either a resume review or the EE to HR career mentoring. So either option, I can dive into those bullet points, because child, that'd be like a 2-hour video, because you really want to show those skills there. I have tons more tips that I can give you. With the resume review, you get an absolute checklist that tells you when to put that education in there, when should I put some community service or affiliations in there, and so you definitely can get a much deeper dive. But if you want to know just how to get that resume right, where you can start getting some type of leverage back, at least getting screenings, interviews, feedback questions, then these are the top 3 things that you want to do. I thank you guys so much for watching the Hey HR video. I'm super excited about filming in my new location. You can see that I'm still struggling through this thing, but we're gonna get it together. I'm just super excited that we're starting in a new location. I'm super excited where Hey HR can go. I'm super excited that we're able to celebrate having 10,000 subscribers. I pray we get to 100,000. So if you're new to Hey HR, do me a favor, child. Hit that subscribe button, and you may as well hit the bell, because there ain't nothing but more goodness coming after this video. Every video I try to produce the absolute best information that you can use to not only start your career, but definitely grow your career. So this is not only for the starting HR professional, but definitely for the seasoned professionals. For those of you who are returning, I know I can work on how I'm sitting a little bit better. I got that. Don't worry. Next video is going to get better. This is just a test. But tell me what you think about the new setup so far and how we grooving. Just know that I'm going to do a video where I'm going to give y'all a full tour on the whole She Shared studio. So definitely hit the alerts list, because it's coming up next. Thank you so much for coming back, y'all. I really appreciate y'all, like real talk. I appreciate every single subscriber, and definitely the folks who have been trugging along long before we got to 10,000. I can't wait to see y'all on the next video.